Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another video. I was enjoying a very quiet Sunday morning coffee and I opened Instagram, and there were many messages from some dear friends and colleagues of mine in the USA sending me material about the attempted assassination of Mr. T. So while I'm not a political person, this is not a political channel, I have recently done a video on this aspect that is in play at the moment, which is Mars, Uranus, and Algol. And even though I'm not a political channel, I do think this is such a historical moment. It's worth taking a little peek at this. However, the intention of this video isn't to be an astrological rubbernecker. I really dislike that. But I do want to use this moment, I guess, to inject a outsider's looking in perspective, because if you're new to this channel, you're new to me, it's probably obvious I'm Australian. So I don't pay tax to the American government. I am not an American citizen. Although I visited a couple of times and it is magical there. So my take on politics in general is, first, I don't have Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't acknowledge or recognize these structures at all. So I take my philosophy on politics in general from the etymology of the word, that being poly, meaning many, and ticks, meaning parasites. And it's you and me, my friends, are their host. So take of that what you will. So we are in very historical times. This 2020s timeline is insane. And I've found myself many, many times in client session with students, in just general conversation with friends. Wow, what a timeline. And my dear friend Gordon White will often say, what is yours to do in this moment? And I think we do have moments in time where we are invited to really look at ourselves and think, what is ours to do in this moment? And so that is the one of the angles I want to take on this video, as opposed to looking at the astrology as well. So as an outside looking in, as your cousin, being Australian, I love America and I love Americans. Yes, there are a lot of problems. Show me a place that doesn't have those. But we're on a precipice in so many ways, and it's really, really easy to get caught up in that. And as I mentioned, the etymology of politics, they are already parasites on our money, and trying to increasingly encroach on our freedoms and our movement and our choices. I think it's really important to also not let its encroachment grow too far into our minds and our energies as well. And I've been to America twice now. First time I was in Chicago, speaking at UAC. I think I spent about 10 days there. And I actually had quite a few meditations down opposite Trump Tower on the end of the Magic Mile there. It's a beautiful spot. And the second time I spoke at NORWAC, and then I had some workshops down in San Diego. So on that particular trip, I was in the US for a month, and it was the most magical, magical time. I went to Seattle, Portland, Olympia, Bend, Asheville, Jacksonville, and San Diego. So the most magical moment for me, the whole time was, but the most magical moment was I was graciously hosted by the Copics, and I was staying with them in Southern Oregon. And my time there was I had to go on to the next event, and so Austin dropped me at the airport. I think it was Medford, perhaps, or one of those regional airports. Picked up my hire car and just typed in Bend into my GPS and hit the road. No plan, no agenda, no itinerary. But I was driving along and I was thinking to myself, this isn't the road we came down on, because another friend drove us from Portland to Southern Oregon. And we went on, I think it's called the I-5, and the scenery was fantastic, absolutely phenomenal. Forests, rocky canyons, everything. And I didn't know it at the time, but I'd gone through those cascades, the Great Oregon Cascades, or whatever their official name is. Went up to the top of Crater Lake, and so if anyone's familiar with those areas, you'll just know how stunningly gorgeous that place. It all was so amazing. But you know what the most amazing part of that journey was? Here I am, Australian, on the other side of the planet, driving on the other side of the car, on the other side of the road, alone, with patchy mobile reception, and complete freedom. And we're on a line where those things, if we allow it, will be no longer available to us. And I think, the only thing that would have maybe made it more American was if I had a carry. But I did not, unless there was one in the glove box I was unaware of. But yeah, it was freedom, and just the fortune that our ancestors would not have even dreamed of such an event. And so for you, if you're watching from America, you could do exactly the same thing here. We have the capacity to do that. If you can handle driving on the other side of the road, it's a trip. But I guess I share that because my experience of America, of Americans, of American culture in real time, incredible. So we don't want to lose that through the division, through the psyops, through um, trying to right wrongs of the past, that none of us are responsible for. What we really want to try and do in this moment is take action and move forward, take action and make a better place so our descendants can continue living a life that our ancestors fought for and built, because we don't realize how precious something is until we no longer have it. And I think the events of this Trump situation really, really demonstrates that. So I just wanted to give a little bit of insight into sometimes when we're in the thick of things, when we're in the political uh, chaos, when it feels like the sky's falling down, sometimes it can be a little bit of a stretch to remember the magic, remember the joy, and remember how good things are that we really do have. Also, one thing is you have great cocktails. I got a taste for margaritas in San Diego, particularly, and I had this phenomenal, I didn't even know it was possible, a single malt slushy, because I love my scotch. But anyway, let's get back to the astrology. So if you've never seen Donald Trump's chart before, I'm going to bring that up for you now. He has, I mean, like him or loathe him, I don't care. I don't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. He has a fantastic chart that just shows up so literally. And even though there's a little bit of debate about the actual birth time, I mean, for my money, I do feel that we've got a pretty good one here. So two things, or probably three things I really want to point out. Firstly is he has his ascendant at 29 degrees of Leo. If you saw my recent video on an introduction to fixed stars, Regulus was mentioned there. And so Regulus does get a lot of glory in astrology. It's a very royal star. I describe it a little bit as Teflon, and it does show up in Trump's life, in my opinion, as Teflon, in the sense that he seems to be relatively untouchable, just continues to rise, which on the ascendant, you would expect that. So it is one of those stars that can come great wealth, can come great glory, can come great victory. But usually what Regulus can bring as well is this idea of when you reach great heights, of course, you can reach great falls. So that's, definitely a thing with him. And then, of course, we've got Mars there. So Mars is just adding that extra, perhaps, aggression, volatility, or this sort of relentless, Mars is in Leo, it's fixed. It gives it just this extra relentless, never give up type of vibe. But I guess the thing that's really an issue to watch with him right now is the position of the midheaven. So the midheaven being his career, his public life, his public persona, and what he's known for in the world. And that is positioned at 24 degrees of Taurus. So it is conjunct the fixed star of Kaput Algol. So I won't go too much into the meaning of that right now, but do go back and watch that video if you would like to learn more about it. The thing I wanted to point out about Algol in this particular video, in the introduction to the fixed stars video, I did mention how fixed stars will tell you a lot about their symbolism by where the fixed star is located in the constellation. So in the constellation of Algol, well, sorry, I should say in the constellation of Taurus is the position of the stars. So it's two stars, two binary stars, and it's positioned in the right side of the head. And that's the literal location of where Trump was shot, at the top of his ear, from what I could tell from the pictures. The caffeine's still kicking in. So, and then Mars has come along with that, and then Uranus has come along with that and really activated that particular area of his life. So he wasn't shot in the arm, he wasn't shot in the shoulder or anywhere else. It was literally on the right side of his head, which is where the fixed star of Algol is positioned in that constellation. So that's a really significant yeah, it's sometimes astrology happens and you're like, yeah, of course that was going to happen. And then there's other astrology that happens where you just are in awe of it. And it's definitely a wow moment. So we also have the ruler of his descendant, relationships, we could take it as, or open enemies, is conjoined its ruler in the 12th, is in the 12th house. So we have the ruler of his ascendant, the ruler of his descendant conjoined in the 12th. So he has, I guess, open and secret enemies galore, we could say. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. So I'm just going to clear those drawings away. And I'll bring up the next chart I want to show you here. Hopefully it'll just flick over okay. And this is the chart of the shooting. So I'd like to thank Kathy Rose Astrology. She put this out there on Twitter. She's a great astrologer. Definitely recommend her videos. She's a lovely woman, very experienced. So she's listed this at 6:13 in a town. I mean, I've not been to the East Coast yet, maybe next year. Butler in Pennsylvania at 6:13 p.m. So we can see that Mars Uranus is super, super close. Let me just bring the drawings back up. 26, 25 and 26. So super close there. And we've also got an active, very active and super tight first quarter moon there, which is a very Marsy combination. The first quarter moon, very action oriented, very it's a sort of pedal to the metal type of lunar phase. We also see the moon is with the midheaven, conjoined the south node. So there's an energy of a depletion, a loss in a group setting in the 11th house there as well. And of course, that Venus-Pluto opposition has just been in play. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of the chart of the moment. Sagittarius is rising, putting the ruler of that incident conjoin the descendant. So yeah, that just gives us a little bit of a flavor for the day, flavor for the moment. And now if we look at the Biwheel, so this is Trump's chart in the center and the shooting around the outside. So this is where things again, astrology is an incredible tool if you're wanting to learn it. I have not too long ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, began a new intake. It's not too late to sign up if that is something that you're wanting to. You're thinking, I'm sick of watching these YouTube videos and not really understanding them, or just kind of going along with them. Get on board and we can have fun together. So anyway, let's do this. So we have, the low-hanging fruit moment. The obvious moment is Mars Uranus with Algol, obviously not featured on this chart, but can join the midheaven. So that's definitely the moment. I also couldn't help but notice a couple of other things here. And the sun, the ruler of his ascendant, is at 21 degrees of Cancer, and it's conjoined the ruler of his descendant, which is in the 12th house. So to me, this feels like a feeling of him and an open enemy working behind the scenes in some way, shape, or form, which, was obvious. I think there'll be more to the story. And will we ever know the story? Probably not, but the takes are going to be quite entertaining, put it that way. We also see the ruler of his midheaven, which is Venus. I'll just clear that to make it a bit clearer for you. The ruler of his midheaven is Venus, and it's come into his first house a couple of days ago in the sign of Leo. So he's bright, he's shining. It's all about him in the moment. So he's giving a speech. We've also got Mercury in the first house. So the communication, the talking. I haven't watched what it was all about because I don't follow it. I don't need to, being Australian, of course, but we don't miss out on too much, trust me. So Venus, the ruler of his midheaven, is in the first, and it's opposite Pluto. So this is this idea of struggles of power, or something about his professional life, his public appearance being initiated into an event and sort of dragged down into that proverbial underworld. So he got shot in the ear, or what appears to be the ear at this point in time, and sort of falls to the ground. And this is still events in motion. This is still events in process. So in progress, I should say. So it'll be interesting just to observe what happens from here. Is it stronger, better than ever? Or that's my take. But or will there be something more to it? Will his injuries be more? We don't know. But the impact is going to be significant. We can also see too that it's a historical moment, like such a public visual turning point. So with the Venus Pluto, if you've ever experienced your own significant Pluto transit, you'll probably jive with the idea that it really feels like one of those BC AD kind of moments, like before the event, and then there's after the event. So there will be a certain flavor. I don't want to say a tarnish, or I don't want to say a because tarnish is the wrong word, because it indicates something bad. I mean, this is a bad event for him, especially his age. I mean, I can't imagine that would be, it's going to be a thing that's no matter what age you are. But when it's a man who's not a spring chicken, that's a big turning point. And so moving forward, whatever happens with him, this is going to be a definitive event, a life-changing event. Like it would be for anybody who's had a significant Pluto moment in their life. There's something about it that's very definitive. And once you're touched by the energy of Pluto, that you can't be untouched, so to speak. And so this is going to be a big signature moment for his professional, his public life, and his image. I've already seen some photos of him where he's saying, wait, wait, and then sort of puts the fist up in the air. So it is this never say die, and which is what Pluto, it can really bring, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So these images that were taken of that will be iconic. They will be historical. And that's sort of that turning point moment there. It's also interesting too that when we superimpose the chart of the moment with his own natal chart, the descendant and Jupiter has come to the 11th house, uh, very close to his natal Uranus, which is already active by transit on the midheaven, and the descendant and Jupiter sort of in the same zone as his sun, the ruler of the ascendant, in the 11th house of, groups, communities, etc. And so he's literally sort of public speaking at this point. And having Jupiter in Gemini with the descendant being maybe an indicator of the motivations, the intentions, perhaps even the identity of the shooter himself. I mean, Jupiter, it's going to be ideologically motivated. I mean, that's obvious, but the astrology is also really pointing that out. So it will be interesting to see if we ever do get to find out the truth, or what they want us to hear, what those actual intentions and motivations are. Jupiter in Gemini is in a position technically known as detriment. So I think getting to the core of what those motivations are, or to the truth of what those motivations are going to be something that yeah, I don't think we're ever really going to know. I mean, how long has it been since JFK, So yeah. So there's a few other things that we could also see in the nature of fixed stars. The moon is on the fixed star, or applying to the fixed star known as Speaker. She sits, I think, 24 to 26 from memory. I think it's 26, maybe it's 24, of Libra. And so Libra is, Speaker, I mean, Regulus gets all the glory, but for my money, hands down, no question, maybe a little bias, but Speaker does get, Regulus gets all the glory, but for my money, Speaker is such a protective, nourishing, giving, abundant star. She's not as hot as Regulus. So Regulus is a great flash in the pan, great heights, great falls, but Speaker is, you'd want to put that in election if there was something that you ultimately just wanted to be good, and pleasant and enduring and protective. You may not always get what you want with Speaker, but you'll get what you need. And usually that's for the higher good, right? And so the moon in an event chart is going to really tell you, it's going to indicate, obviously, Trump's body. It's going to indicate the mood. It's going to indicate, what's moving forward in the situation. And so the moon moving to Speaker via transit, and also in the vicinity of Trump's own natal Jupiter. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that this is going to be a bad thing for him. In fact, it's probably going to just keep on fanning those flames, fanning his rise, in whatever way that looks like, whether it means I don't know, what is it, the 42nd or whatever number president you guys are up to now? I can't quite remember. Is it 42 and 44, I think, maybe, whatever. But also that moon is applying to trine his ascendant. So yeah, there's just a few indications there that I hope helps you maybe navigate the moment. From an astrological viewpoint, the symbolism, just how it shows up, is quite incredible. And as I said in my Algol video, having a significant event politically, geopolitically, in this moment was going to happen. There was no question about it. It has. I wouldn't be surprised that there's more to come. Maybe there's more that has happened, but this is going to be the news of the moment, and some other events may not get their due airtime, so to speak. So anyway, I just wanted to show you the activations of the fixed stars a little bit in that video. And of course, the moon coming up to Speaker, I think, is a very protective and very ominous indicator there. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I do, again, want to just reiterate, I do hope that you see this potentially divisive moment as an opportunity to come together. The only way things will get better is taking positive action moving forward. What is yours to do in this moment and all the moments to come? Because no matter which way you look at it, the geopolitical, it's a gong show. There's no one coming to save us. So what is yours to do? What can you do in your world to bring more light, to bring more high tides so the boats around you can rise? Because I love America. I really do. I love the people. I love the time that I spent there. And I do hope to come back soon. Next year is the loose plan. So I don't want to be coming under dubious circumstances. So anyway, I'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, I hope you have a really great week. Bye for now.